Hey everyone, welcome back to another video by Upgrade. Today we are diving into something really important. Something that not only helps you make your code more efficient, but also comes up in a lot of technical interviews. The break and continue statements. If you have ever found yourself in an interview, especially Java interview, chances are you have been asked something like, how would you stop a loop early? Or how can you skip a specific iterations in a loop? Well, these questions are all about break and continue. In this video, we will learn how to get out of loops or skip it using break and continue statements. Now, before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss any update. So what is a break statement? Imagine you are in a loop. A loop is like a train that keeps going through its stations until it reaches the end. Sometimes, though you might not want the train to visit every station, you might want it to stop early, maybe because you're already found that you're looking for. That's where the break statement comes in. The break statement allows you to exit or break out of a loop before it naturally finishes its run. Think of it as a way to tell the loop, hey, I'm done, no need to keep going. It stops the loop immediately, no matter where you are inside it. So basically, it is used in programming to immediately exit a loop regardless of its current situation. Now, let's understand with the help of an example. Here, we will do an example that runs from 1 to 20, but we want to stop the loop as soon as we reach the number 11. So let's get back to Eclipse. Alright, so this is our Eclipse IDE. So here we will be doing an example. So here we'll do an example in which a program runs a loop from 1 to 10, but exits, or you can say breaks the loop early when I reaches 5. Alright, so let's do this example so that you guys can also understand it better. Alright, so first of all, there's a for loop that we have to use and initialize it with 0. Then I should be, let's say, less than equal to 10, then I plus plus. Alright, now inside this for loop, we'll have to use if condition. That is, if I equal to 5, then we will print something, okay? If I, then we will print system.out.println. So here we will print breaking the loop at I equals to, basically we will show breaking the loop at this point, that is the 5th point. Alright, so this is what we want to print. Breaking the loop at I equals to, here we'll write plus operator and I variable. That's it. Now here we'll use break because we want to exit the loop when I equals to 5, right? So we'll use break. So this is where break is used when you actually want to exit a loop. Alright, so using break we will exit the loop at 5, at I equals to 5. Then after this, as we know that after the loop we will be printing system.out.println, then the value of I. I think we'll have to print it inside it because we have to print multiple things. So we wanted to keep that thing printing on, so we have to keep it inside the loop. System.out.println. Now here we'll write current value of I. We forgot to put this in double quotes. Alright, so now it's in double quotes here plus I. Let's add some gap here. Alright, so yeah, this will show the current value. So those here again, doesn't, yeah. So this is the loop basically, and what we are doing is the loop starts from I equals to 1, as we know that here we'll have to mention 1 instead of 0. So the loop is starting from I equals to 1 and will loop, I repeat, and let's run it to 20, okay, and let's stop it at, let's say, 11. Alright, just make it long. Alright, so the loop starts from I equals to 1 and runs up to I equals to 20 as we are witnessing it. And when I becomes 11, as we can see, if I becomes 11, then the condition will be true, right? So the break statement is executed at this point. Alright, so we have used this break keyword. So at this point, the break statement is executed. As soon as break is encountered, the loop is terminated. Alright, and the control moves to the code outside the loop. So the control moves to the outside the loop. Alright, now let's do this. Let's save it first and now run it. I think there is some error, that is why it is showing this. Yeah, the main error is we haven't used the public static void main. Alright, public static void main string public static. Yeah, now let's save it and let's try to run this. It was a basic example, I hope you guys understood it. So as we can see, current value of I is 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is breaking the loop at 20, at 11 when it is supposed to be going till 20, right? But as we know that the loop runs till it becomes 20, I becomes 20, right? But here, all thanks to break statement, the loop is terminated with the help of break statement at 11, because here we have put this condition: if I becomes 11, then print this thing breaking the loop at this particular point and just break it. So it is printing breaking the loop at I equals to 11 because we have used break, and this is I equals to 11, that is I equals to 11. So this is what break statement does to a program or a loop. All right, so this example is for you guys to understand it better. If you want to terminate the particular loop, then it is used. Okay, now let's take an example with a while loop. So in this case, the loop continues to run until a certain condition is met, and we will use the break statement to stop it. Okay, so let's use the while loop in the following example. All right, so let's remove this part. All right, now here let's initialize, as we are using while loop, so we'll have to initialize I equals to 1. We are initializing it, then while I is less than equal to 10, let's say, till I is less than equal to 10, then again we will use another condition inside, I equals to 7. Now I equals to 7, here we want to put a continue or a break statement, not continue but the break statement. Okay, again here we will print system.out.println. Here we'll print breaking the loop at I, like we did previously. Okay, breaking the loop at I plus I. All right, so we'll show that this point, this is the point where we are breaking it. Okay, so that is why we are doing it. You don't need to necessarily do that. So break keyword, so this particular keyword, as we did previously, this will exit the loop when I equals to 7, I becomes equals to 7. So I will be, initially the value of I is 1, then condition is here. Now to run the loop, we'll have to use the increment operator also, because we want the loop to keep on going, right? So we'll be using increment operator also. So before that, we'll be printing the current value. Okay, so for current value, system.out.println, here double quotes, current value of I, okay, plus I plus plus. All right, so this is it. So this is the updation part of this, basically the while loop. So if we'll talk about, this is the initialization, this is the condition, and this is the updation. Now it will check if I becomes equal to 7. If it becomes equal to 7, it will break at that point, although we want it to run till 10. Okay, let's save it and run it. As you can see on the screen, let me just do this. Yeah, current value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and breaking the loop at I equals to 7. By mistake we wrote loop is instead of loop, but I ignored that thing. But breaking the loop at I equals to 7, as we discussed earlier. All right, so this is what you can do with the help of break. You can use it in for, while, and many other programs you will be able to use it. So this is for basically the explanation part. So I hope you guys understood, when I becomes equals to 7, the if condition becomes true and the break statement is executed, the loop is immediately stopped and the control will jump to the code following the loop. Okay, so this is how it goes. All right, so this was about the break statement. Now that we have understood the break statement and the working of it with hands-on example, now let's understand the continue statement. So now let's talk about the continue statement. Imagine you're working with loops like a for loop or a while loop, and you want to skip a certain iterations without completely stopping the loop. That's where the continue statement comes in handy. Think of continue as saying, hey, just skip this part and move on to the next round. Unlike the break statement, which completely stops the loop, continue just tells the loop to skip the current iteration and go directly to the next one. So basically, the continue statement in Java is a control flow statement that causes the loop to skip the rest of the code in the current iteration and immediately proceed to the next iteration. Let's say we want to print numbers from 1 to 10, but we want to skip all even numbers. So we can use continue to achieve this. I repeat. So we can use continue to achieve this by skipping any iteration where the number is even. We just don't have to stop it like the previous break statement. Alright. So this is the difference between these two basically. We'll be discussing it further, but as of now, I want you guys to understand this thing. Alright. Now let's do an example in Eclipse. Alright, so we are back on Eclipse. Now let's remove this thing. Okay, so let's do an example of continue statement. So here we will be doing an example in which the program will run a while loop that increments the variable from I1, then it prints the current value of I until I reaches 7. At that point, the loop breaks and the program stops further execution. So in this example, we'll run the loop from I equals to 1 to 10, but at 7, when in this program we are basically use the continue statement where we'll be skipping the parts of even numbers. We'll be printing from 1 to 10 and we'll skip the even numbers between them. Alright, as simple as that. So we'll start with first of all the for loop. Let's start with the for loop. Int I equals to 1, I less than equals to 10, I plus plus. Now inside the for loop we'll use if, and then there's the condition I mod 2. So whenever we want to check whether a number is even or odd, basically mod is used because it gives us the remainder of thing. If a particular value is odd, then it will give you 1 as the remainder, otherwise it will completely be divisible by it and give you 0. So even numbers will give 0 as an output if that particular number is divided or mod by 2, not divided but mod by 2. So it is basically used to check that equal to 0. So that means if a particular I number is mod, that is the remainder of these two things, is 0, then it means it is even number. Alright. So now here we'll do continue keyword. Alright. So this particular thing will skip the iteration if the number is even. So basically here what we are saying is if I mod 2 equals to 0, that means if a number is even, then skip that particular number. Alright. Now we will print system.out.println and here we'll print I basically. So we are printing the odd numbers, that's it. Alright, from 1 to 10 we are printing the odd numbers. Alright, now let's save it and let's try to run this. Alright, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. As you can see, it is printing the numbers. Let's make it 50. Save it and run it. So we can check all the numbers are odd numbers. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23. So what continue statement does is it doesn't stop it, but it skips that part. Alright, so this is the difference between both of these. It's very simple. The loop the loop is iterating through numbers from 1 to 10. When the number is even, that is I mod 2 equals to 0, the continue statement is executed, skipping the even parts and only displays the odd numbers. Alright. So now let's do an example using a while loop that behaves similarly. We'll loop through the numbers from 1 to 10 and skip the numbers that are divisible by 3. Okay. So yeah, let's do this. So here we'll be using the while loop from 1 to 10 and we will skip the numbers that are divisible by 3. Now we'll start with int I equals to 1 because we have to initialize as we are using the while loop. I less than equal to 10. Now inside the while loop we'll use the condition if I mod 3, that is if a number is divided by 3 and give you 0 as a remainder, then it means it is divisible by 3. As simple as that. I plus plus. So here we are incrementing. So don't forget to increment I or it will cause an infinite loop. Okay, here. So now here semicolon we'll have to use. Now here we will use a continue statement. So here again, it will skip the iteration if the number is divisible by 3. Okay, we want to skip those numbers. Then system.out.println, here we'll print I. Alright, so now after this I plus plus. So this is the increment of I after printing the number basically. So after each increment it will be like this only. So it is basically no different than the previous one, but all it is doing is it is skipping the numbers which is divisible by 3. That is perfectly divisible by 3. That is, it will give you 0 as a remainder. So yeah, it is the difference. Now let's save it. I think one bracket is missing. Yeah. Now save it and let's try to run this. So as you can see, let's keep it like this only. Alright, so the output is like this now. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. None of these numbers are perfectly divisible by 3. And we have used the while loop till 10, so that is why it is printing this thing. If we'll keep it 40, let's say, and save it and then again run it, it will give us this many number. And all of these numbers are not divisible by 3. Alright. So this is another example of while loop. I hope you guys understand it. Yeah. So now let's do an example in which we are using both break and continue statements. Alright. So let me try to shift this back. Alright. So I think, alright. So this was about continue. Now let's do an example in which we are using both break and continue statements together. Alright. So let's do this. Let's remove this also. Alright. Now here we'll do a program that performs a countdown from 10 to 1, skipping the numbers 5 using the continue statement. And it will stop the countdown entirely when the number reaches 3 with the help of break statement. We'll do that. Alright. So it will skip 5 and it will stop when the number becomes 3. Alright. That's it. So let's do this example. We'll start with the main function, public static void main string arguments. Alright, now inside this we will use a for loop first. So inside this for loop, which is starting from 10 and it will go till 1. Alright, so previously we are using the for loops that were incrementing from 0 or 1 to 10, but now we'll use a for loop which is decrementing basically from 10 to 0 or 1. Alright, so let me show you how to do that. Int I equals to 10, I greater than 0, I minus minus, that is the decrement. So here what we are doing is we are starting the I from 10, that is initial value is 10, and this loop will keep on running till I is greater than 0. Alright, and then we have used the updation, which is the decrement operator. So after every cycle it will become 1 less, like let's say 10, then it will be 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Till it is greater than 0, this loop will keep on running. That is till 1 it will run. Alright. So it is pretty simple, just the opposite you'll have to do. That's it. Alright, now inside this loop, we'll use if condition, that is if I is equal to 5. Then in this case, we'll print skipping the number. Alright, here we have wrote skipping the number, and then we'll write continue. Alright, now after this we'll have to use if statement. If I equals to 3, that is now we have to use the break statement also. So we are using I equal to 3. Now inside this if condition, we'll be stopping the loop at I equals to 3. Alright, so for that we'll first print system.out.println. Now we'll write stopping countdown at number 3. Alright, it will display that number. Alright, now after this we'll have to use break, which will do the work actually, which will exactly stop the loop at number 3. Now after this, I mean inside the loop, we'll have to print something, system.out.println. So here we'll print countdown, and let's put this thing in double quotes basically, and plus I, it is used for printing. So here is the actual printing taking place. Alright, so now let me explain you guys. The loop counts down from 10 to 1. Then the continue is used to skip the number 5 when the loop reaches 5, the message skipping number 5 is printed, but the loop skips the remaining code in that iteration and moves to the next number. Now break is used to stop the loop when countdown reaches 3. When it reaches 3, the message stopping countdown at number 3 is printed and the loop is terminated. So the numbers 2 and 1 are not processed and the numbers 2 and 1 will not get printed. Alright, let's save this and run this. Alright, now as you can see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, skipping the number 5, 4 and it will stop at 3. So 2 and 1 are not getting printed. So it is working exactly as we predicted. So this is how you can use continue and break. I hope you guys understood their functionalities. But let's just again recall what is the difference between break and continue. Alright. So the break statement, first function is the break statement completely exits a loop. When it is executed, the control is transferred to the first line of code outside the loop, terminating the loop immediately. Whereas in the continue statement skips the current iteration of loop and jumps to the next iteration, allowing the loop to keep running. Alright. Now talking about the break statement, you use break when you want to stop the entire loop because continuing with further iterations is no longer necessary. And continue statement, you can use continue statement when you want to skip certain iterations based on a condition but still want the loop to continue processing other iterations. Then there's talking about the effect on loops. So the break statement ends the loop entirely, no further iterations occur. But in case of continue statements, it skips the rest of the current iteration and goes to the next one without stopping the loop. So yeah, these are the main differences between these two. Both of these are very easy to use as only the keyword break and continue is used. So it is very easy to understand and use. Alright, now let's understand when to use break and continue. So you want to exit the entire loop or switch statement prematurely, then you will use the break statement. And another thing is you have found the desired result and don't want to continue iterating, then you use the break statement. And the third thing is you encounter an error or exceptional condition that makes it impossible to continue, then you would use the break statement. Now let's discuss when to use continue statements. So continue statement is used when you want to skip the remaining part of the current iteration and proceed to the next iteration. And it is used when you need to avoid certain calculations or actions for specific conditions. And then it is used if you want to optimize the loop's performance by skipping unnecessary work. Alright, so these were the reasons when break and continue statements are used. You can try the examples that we have covered and then you can practice all these examples and then you'll be able to understand it better. So we have covered how these break and continue statements can give you more control over your loops. Remember, these concepts don't just make your code cleaner, they are also common in technical interviews. So mastering them is a great way to sharpen your problem solving skills. In the upcoming videos, we will be covering topics like strings, arrays, etc. Also, if you are interested in mastering Java, you can join a free masterclass. The link to register is provided in the description below. Now let me ask you something. Are you ready to take your tech skills to the next level and open doors to new career opportunities? Then our Masters in Computer Science program is perfect for anyone aiming to thrive in the development world. So in this program, you will explore everything from advanced Java to data structure, algorithm design and analysis, full stack development, both front end and back end, system design and much more. You will develop the in-demand skills needed to stand out and succeed in the competitive tech landscape. Don't wait, click the link in the description and start your journey today.